free while this is going on to help yourself to dessert. Keep your spoon and fork and enjoy a great meal. There is also other food up here if you want seconds. That's fine to get seconds of the main course as well. So some of you had an opportunity to share some thoughts and comments about our celebration. So we want to open it up and give you an opportunity to share a reflection, a word of encouragement for Pastor Mike and Dawn, or a story. So I'm going to run around with a mic, and we'll let you begin sharing.
Hello, I have three or four very short stories. About 10 years ago, Mary and I invited Mabusa Manga to help paint our house, and in comes this wreck of a blue-green car. I thought he was making a pastor visit. No, he said that the Manga boys needed their tires checked. I preceded Mike here in the pastorate at one point, and I'm sure glad I didn't follow him. I call him a full-service pastor. He also followed me back in 1994. I was chairing Leadership Commission, and Mike, when I got sick, Mike took over. Very grateful for that. And the most important thing to tell you is that some years ago, I was having a very difficult time with a church, and I was not going to communion. One Sunday, Mike preached, and he said, in words as clear today as it was then, if you don't feel worthy to come to the table, you must come. And I took communion for the first time for a number of years. Thank you.
Thank you, Richard, for modeling so well pastoral ministry, grace, and humor, and for your incredible memory and your love of history.
Sure.
Oh, well, yeah, okay. Okay. That doesn't matter.
Others who would like to share?
I would like to speak mostly to Dawn. I have a lot of respect for Dawn, partly because I lived most of my life as a pastor's spouse. And I wish I would have known her when I started as a pastor's wife and could have learned from you. I could have learned a lot, I'm sure. Many years ago, when I worked for 10,000 Villages, I went to a church on behalf of 10,000 Villages, and it was at a very large church, and it was mostly a black congregation. And they were beginning the service, and they said that they were very happy to have the First Lady there that day. And I was so excited because I thought, oh, great, Michelle Obama's here. And I thought, how could I be so privileged as to be there the same day that she was there? And they had asked that she would come up forward and have the prayer. And so I was sitting there waiting, and all of a sudden the lady went up, and I knew it wasn't Michelle Obama. and here it was the pastor's wife. And I thought, oh, how exciting that they called their pastor's wife the First Lady. And it was a whole new concept for me. I'd never heard that before. And I thought it was such respect that they did that. And I came back thinking, wow, that's such a nice name for Dawn. And and I thought, but that's really nice. We came out of a tradition that we did not do that with our pastors' wives in the Mennonite tradition, nor did we give that kind of honor or respect to their pastors' wives. And so that was a new thing for me. I remember at different times growing up, I heard my mother say, oh, I could write a book. You know, Dawn says, so could she. Oh, your mom said that. She could write a book, yeah. Well, there's a lot of things that I'm sure Dawn could say that she could write a book. And there's probably many wonderful things that she could put in a book of experiences that she has had. There's a lot of things that she could put in a book that could never be told because of what she has experienced through the life of being a pastor's spouse. Things that people have shared with her that she can't tell. Things that she has heard, things that she's experienced, even a lot of miracles that she has heard of and that she has been a part of learning about. She's also learned of a lot of devastating things that have happened to people's lives that she cannot share because she has been privileged to learn them. She has been a confidant for her husband, and those are things that she cannot share. These are things that she carries with her. They're things that she has been privileged to, and that she's been honored with to carry them with her husband. She's also been one that has carried many prayers for all of us here in the congregation as a partner with Mike. And I think it's a lot of things that we can honor her with as we share those things with her. So I think we want to honor her today in the 25 years as well as with Mike. And I appreciate so much all that she has done for our congregation here at Plains. Thank you, Dawn.
So I think I have a lot of names that different people know me at different time periods. So I will say both of them, so everybody will be familiar. So I don't know if Mary Beth's still here, but you remember me or Michael. So that's my other name. So and then my current name is Alir, and yeah. So I think I have a lot to say, but I will not say all of them about Mike, because some of them might not, I think, and some of them are going to relate it to vehicle too, because he's a car, that the thing that they talk about, fixing cars, I think my car is one of them. And recently, I think we did, was it during, I don't remember now, was it was the battery during the, was it during July 4th or before that, I don't. Yeah, and then, so, it was Labor Day, I think. Yeah, I went there, and so he's very good at fixing cars. So I keep relying on him because I have an older vehicle, like his vehicle, but mine. I think mine is a little bit younger, right? It's 2007, and yours is 99. Okay, yeah. So we are on the same boat, I think, when it comes to vehicle. So they need a lot of work, and so. We first came to this country about, it's going to be 24 years in December. And at that time, I think, I don't know whether Mike remember it, but he came to our apartment the same day that we arrived. We came through Philadelphia Airport. We went to the apartment straight, and then he was still there close to 10 o'clock. And we asked him why he was still there. And he said he was going to sleep there on the couch, so to make sure that we are not up afraid or anything that might happen. And then we say, no, just show us how to lock the door, and you go, we will be fine. I think we said that to you because he was going to sleep there on the couch to make sure that we are good. So that was the first thing that he did the first day that we arrived here. So he didn't want to leave the apartment and leave us alone there. Yeah, in Sarton. We were in Sarton at that time. Yeah, that was the first thing. And then after that, there are a lot of other things that have happened, and I appreciate the Plain Mennonite Church and being led by Mike, and you guys help us a lot. And I don't think if I will be where I am now if it wasn't the Plain, to be honest with you. And I remember Marilyn Gracer used to teach me chemistry. So when I was in high school, and then actually I'm actually doing exactly what he used to do. So that's how I think that very amusing. He was working as analytical chemist, at the time, and he was helping me, with chemistry. And now, in 2013, I finished with my analytical chemistry degree. So and then I started working as an analytical chemist like him. So so I appreciate, but it was through everybody here at Plain that we met, and I don't know how it worked. Was it a lottery or what? That we get picked by Plain Mennonite to come here, but we didn't know the process. They just pick us up at the airport, and I don't know what was the thing they did with the government and how a name ended up being picked by the Plain Mennonite Church. But I think it's good to be here. I have known Andrew since he was a kid. I can't call him a kid now anymore because, but I have known Andrew for a long time, and we used to play with him, when he was young, and now he's totally grown. So so that's how, he can still play, but I can't play anymore. So that's another thing, and I think it's good to have a person that people like listen to, and also people appreciate what they do, like what you guys have done today for Mike to actually to celebrate his 25th years. I don't know if there will be a celebration for me being here for 24 years or 25 years. I don't know. But that's just something to throw in there. Maybe somebody will do it. I don't know. but it is amusing to see everybody. And Dan Lab mentioned something today about Sam Lab, but it really hit me because when Sam passed away here, we were in Ohio. And the car that we are driving now, I am actually the main user of it now. He actually helped us find that vehicle. And I can't let it go now. Every time it breaks, I was like, no, I can't let it go because Sam looked for this vehicle for me. So it meant a lot to me now. So I keep fixing it. So I haven't done anything to it so far. I'm not trading in anytime soon. It's still running. So, but that was something that was really good. So Sam helped me to find it. I think the first thing that we found was the problem with that vehicle was there was a problem with the turbo. How do you call it? Turbo bell, or what is it called? The bell that the engine uses. The serpentine bell was the problem. So it was cracked, and then I came to Mike, and we were like, no, bring it over. I will do it. And I was like, are you sure you want to do it? And he said, no, I will do it. That was the first thing that actually you did for that vehicle because it was cracked when we bought it. And then he actually, I don't know whether he remember all of this stuff. He just does them and say, okay. But so those were like some little things that meant a lot to us, and even when I was in Ohio, we didn't get rid of that car. I am still driving it out because of Sam. It took us almost a month to find that vehicle. And then he took his time every day taking us around. And so we remember that. So I think not to ruin Mike's day, I will stop talking, but I think there are a lot to be said. But I think we should all look to Mike and do good work. Even though I don't do a lot of voluntary work now because of other things that I do. But yeah, in the future I am trying, yeah, to envision if I retire or something, I might do something useful because of Mike. I've seen him going around, even being here today, coming back on Friday, driving 17 hours, or whatever number of hours it was. I will not be here. I will be sleeping at home. I don't think if I will be here, but he's here. That we have seen him this morning, and I think I look that as a good, and then Andrew, actually we work in sound booth now, so sometimes he knows a little bit more electronic than I am. I just press button. Because that's what I do at work. I just press button. So I don't make any new stuff. So I just press button and let the computer do the rest. So Andrew also taught me how to press some buttons sometime with him. And I think that's a good thing that he have done so far. But he haven't fixed anything for me yet, either a computer or a vehicle. But I'm looking to him too. So we'll see. Okay. All right. I thank you, Mike and Don and Andrew and Emily, even though she's not here. She might be listening to this later. So it was such a pleasure to meet you as a family, and also to the Plain Mennonite Church. I look at Plain Mennonite Church like when I was in high school, they asked me like, "Is your family here?" I say, "No, I don't have a family." I say, "What do you mean? I have a church as my family." And then they were like, "Oh, okay, you have a church as your family. How so? You don't have mom and dad?" I said, "They are my mom and dad. What do you mean I don't have mom and dad? Because they do everything. So if I need something, so somebody's going to do it. So what is the definition of mom and dad? They will do something, right? If somebody needs something, like if my youngest daughter needs something now, I will do it for her because that's my job. But that's what you guys used to do. So I used to tell people, the church was my family. And actually, it is still true until now, I think. But I thank you.
I forget. I don't know. Am I supposed to say my name, Kieran Mattetti? I forget what the context was. But we were talking about like professions. And, I'm a robotics engineer. And I said something like, "Well, Mike, I have a real job. I'm an engineer." It was in the context of, "Oh, you're a pastor." It's not quite. Do you remember that? Yeah, a little bit. Okay, I'm glad you don't remember it, fully, because I wish the words came out and I couldn't reach them back. And then I think the next time you reminded me, because you have the real job here. And then I observe you as you just live, and I'm not always like hanging on every word in your sermon, but I feel like your life is your sermon, and you exemplify who someone should be in Christ, and I really appreciate that, and I also appreciate walking outside my house on Highland Drive in Telford at around 6:30 in the morning. Just trying to. I was wearing my sneakers and my sweatpants, but I was just gonna walk. Just a little walk. And then here comes 8 men running down my street in the middle of the street. No one's gonna run them over if they are a group. And then of course it's Mike and his running crew saying, "Hey, come on, run with us." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, fine." And then so I start running with them, and I run maybe like just from Highland to Reliance. I don't know, maybe it was a mile or less. And at that point, I'm like struggling, and I'm.
It's because you were talking the whole time.
It's because I was talking the whole time, probably, yes. Oh, it's a good conversation. It passes the time. I'm like, wow, we've been running, and I haven't. But by the time we got to Reliance, my side stitch was going, and I was just like, all right, I can't. You guys have a great time. And then later I realized that they met me at mile 4.5, and they went on for another 4.5 miles. And so that was not how I was going to spend my Saturday morning. But Mike, that's just one thing that I appreciate about you is just watching you physically be fit and active in your, how old, you're 75 now? And I mean, sometimes I think you don't actually, you should probably listen to your mind more than your body, because like digging that whole thing out there, my goodness, that's a lot of work. But you did it. It looks great. It's done.
We called in a truck and a
You-
tractor at one point.
Okay, good. So those are two things that I wanted to share. There's plenty more, but I think other people can share too. So thanks, Mike.
I can also bring the mic to you if you don't want to come up here.
Pastor Mike and Don, you are my big fans. And one time when I saw Don, and I worked with the pastor's wife, I won't tell the name, she was completely opposite, like nothing as a pastor's wife at work. I felt so bad all the time when I worked with her. I had an ache in my heart. Why she acts like this being a pastor's wife? When I see Dawn, she's completely different. And I thought, oh God, hope this lady changed. But I don't know what she's doing now, but she didn't change. But Dawn has the character of Proverbs 31. She has full feature. And I was saying, I did a message on that, but I don't do the message now for you all. But Dawn has that all, Proverbs 31. And Pastor Mike, you are great. He always says you have a good image of godly image and God's servant. Because only God's servant we will have only when we have grace of God. So you have that. Thank you, both of you.
Thank you.
Oh, sorry.
I'm just going to say something real quick before I take the kids down the hallway. Dawn and Mike, I've just appreciated just all the many ways that you've led our church and welcomed us in and supported us and our family. We have family that's an hour away, and so sometimes it can feel a little bit like, who do we lean on? And from early on, you stepped in, helped us with babysitting, and just cared for our kids in a special way. So just appreciate that and all the other things that have been shared. But to me, that's personally what you have given me. So thank you.
Thanks for sharing your children.
Others?
Mike and Don, I just wanted to thank you for your love for my children, especially Aiden. He is often hard to handle, and you guys have shown care and love for him. Being autistic, he struggles, but you guys, I know, Dawn, you have loved him, and thank you. Sorry.
Anya Swartley, I just wanted to echo as I was sitting there hearing Rachel's words, and I think all of us can say the exact same thing of the way that you care for us and that you step in and you care for our kids and you care for us individually. And, you know, when Zach and I are trying to decide whether to get married, we met with you a number of times, Mike, and just we're thankful for that guidance. And, you know, some of us have an easier time expressing that thankfulness than others. And I think that each of us here, by our presence, is a way of saying thank you, even if we're not all standing up and saying that. So thank you.
Anyone else?
Mike, to have run a marathon, 26 miles is pretty significant. You've done 25 in pastoring. I have worked with more than 100 pastors over the years, over the last 50 years, and there's only been a couple who've ever made it that far. I can think of 2 or 3 who've done 25 years. Thank you. And I think it's remarkable. And I had to reflect a bit, how does one stay at one place and work that long? What does it take to do that? And what have I seen and observed? And there are maybe 2 or 3 things that I particularly have noted. One has been your capacity to keep retooling yourself and stretching yourself beyond 25 years without any change, basic change. You soon run out of steam. And I've seen it with many, many pastors. I've experienced it myself over the years. But you've had an ability to find ways to refresh, retool, and restore your vision, even taking on new vision as well. And I think that's one of the reasons you come as far as you have. And don't think just because you have a few more years, maybe you're on the home stretch, keep renewing yourself. Keep restoring, because things are changing fast around us. And if you don't, you lose out mighty fast. One of the other things that has refreshed me many times is your genuineness as a pastor. What you see is what you get. And your stories and illustrations at times, some of them very personal, have been, it's something that pastors and speakers often struggle with. How much do I share of myself? But you've had a way of sharing the simple things of living, and should I say even of following Jesus, out of your own experience without setting yourself up. You've shared your own struggles, and I think that's one of the things that many of us have really appreciated. You're down there in the trenches with us, living out your Christian life and struggling with the stuff that we struggle with. And boy, that means so much to all of us. And for that, we're deeply grateful, and we're convinced that you'll continue to lead us with that kind of leadership. Thanks, Mike. And Dawn as well. I'm keenly aware, having spent so many years in ministry, that without the assistance of Sarah, I would never have been where I was in many occasions. And so the two of you together, it takes two to do it. Thanks to both of you.
You know, I know people who have closed doors. In fact, I remember even coming here to see the pastor and the doors were closed. But I don't know that I've ever come in here that the door is closed in Mike's office and it seems he's in there working. But if I come, I know I'm very special because he just stops and gives me all the time I want, and we can sit there and discuss our gardens or our biking or anything, and I feel very comfortable. And that's a gift to me, and I think it's a gift to this church that he's available for us. Thank you, Mike.
I was just going to share that it was a lot of fun to put together the slideshow. The archive on the computer goes back to 2003. So we missed a couple years, but not a lot. And it was entertainingly difficult to find pictures of you two. You're so supportive of what everyone else is doing. So there's going through the archives, like the church here changed the building. The park outside, the pavilion was new, the playground was new, another playground was new. All of the programs that came through, like Seeds to Feed, you planted tomato seeds for it. You know, like there's just so many programs that happened here. And not because you began them, but I don't think you ever said no to anybody. So it's just been so much fun going through and seeing what the church was able to achieve as a community, how we impacted our neighborhood, impacted Lansdale and Hatfield, and so many other programs because you were there behind the scenes supporting anybody who had a vision and heard the call of the Holy Spirit for how to move in our community. So thank you very much for that never-ending support, whether it was hauling boxes, setting up chairs, putting up tents. You were there for us. Thank you both.
One of the things that I've really appreciated and noted about both Mike and Dawn is, and we've heard that through your sharing, that there are times when we are celebrating and we're excited and happy. And there are times when we are on a difficult journey and lamenting and grieving. And those emotions don't always match where they are personally, but their ability to always empathize and walk with us in whatever we're feeling. And that's just been something, a gift I think that Mike and Dawn both have brought to our community. And you're also hearing, we heard Pastor Ken shared several key characteristics of pastors. And I would add to that, and we've heard a lot of other things that you've added, just the ability to be a calming presence. One of the things, and I think this is true for all leaders, often emotions and feelings escalate around us in our church, in our community, and the ability just to bring a calming presence, to de-escalate. And that's been certainly a gift I've noticed here, that Mike has helped us journey through a lot of, and continues to help us journey through a lot of things. Not all of them are easy, but just to bring that calming presence and to keep leading us forward is a real gift. Okay.
Mike, from the property committee, which I'm no longer on, but always appreciated your willing to help whenever we have work outside. If there's anything from growing to planting the flowers to digging dirt, no matter what, you were there with us and wanted to get it done and make everything look nice.
Well, I appreciate all of you coming. We have another one yet.
Last and probably least, but anyway, okay, I'm going to share. Joyce Price, I was here in the office from 2008 to 15. Made so many good friends here, and I love so many people here. But two things that I thought of today. Number one, Plains had the best funeral meals. It was Mildred Nice and Dan Lapp's, Shirley Lapp. And they were just so fabulous. So when I came downstairs here, I'm like, oh yeah, this is where I like to eat. The second thing is a little more serious, but I don't know if there still is this, but there was this fund, and it was like the Deacon Fund or something, and if we needed money to give out to people in need, then we would find those needs out, and then we would tell Mike or whatever, and he would kind of decide, and people came in off the street sometimes, and I got to see Mike in action with his generosity, and sometimes he would take $5 of his own money and go across the street and pump gas, and that made an impression on me. So thank you, Mike and Dawn.
Well, thank you all for sharing. Thanks to the committee who organized and put this together, for Pastor Ken and so many others who participated and made this a very special day. And I think it's only fitting that we give them the last word if they would like to say something.
So many thoughts running through our minds this morning. I think we'll have to go home and unpack for a few days. Hi, Queen. No, she can't. Yeah, where was I? One of the first things I thought of was when the kids were up front singing this morning. It was so precious, and I thought, oh my gosh, I love every one of those kids up there. They're our kids, you know, and they're just so precious. I just we love being here and being among you. And not that we don't love all of you, we do. But but the kids are just extra special to us, to me, to us. Anyway, I'm blubbering here. But I remember coming to, and this was referred to at one point in the service this morning, and I know I've shared this story a number of times, when we came to the meeting with the search committee back in 1999. Yeah. I remember Helen Lapp being there, and that we were talking about expectations and you know, different things about church life or something, and I will never ever forget her saying, you know, we've been through some really tough times and we just need somebody to love us. A lot of us are just hurting and we need somebody to love us. And we thought, oh, well, that doesn't sound hard to, you know, I don't, you know, no, but that didn't sound like a difficult thing. But I think, in fact, we are the ones that have felt loved so richly by all of you. Thank you for enriching our home, our marriage, our ministry, just everything, for caring. We appreciate that. But one funny story I also have to tell about that. Sorry, Andrew. When we were transitioning and considering coming to Plains, I mean, Andrew was 10 and Emily was 12, going on 13. Formative years, it was a tough time, and they weren't real keen on this idea. So they knew that there was a vote coming for the congregation here to see if Mike would be accepted as pastor. And they really talked about putting on sandwich boards and marching out in front of the church that day saying, "Don't vote for Mike." What's that? Vote for Hubert. Oh, yeah, vote for Hubert. Don't vote for Mike. They wanted Hubert to stay on as pastor. So thank you. And what a day. It's quite overwhelming.
Yeah, thank you all. And special thanks to the committee, the planning committee, for all the little details. Nice to have the children involved, as Dawn said, in so many ways. And grateful as well for the flower banners up there. I know they're some of my favorites, and they're great. And even as Heather was talking here, it just reminded me again, I think that our ministry has been extended because of the leadership among us. And the willing workers that you all are, and the vision that you bring for ministry, and especially the whole welcoming, being cognizant of children with special needs and disabilities. And as Erica was sharing, I thought again, the family, the team that we're part of here, and as Alir was sharing as well, as we walk with him as a refugee from Kenya and Sudan. So we walk with your family, Alir, and it would be a wonderful thing to get you and your sister Deborah, Kui, John, and Abram together again here 25 years later. They're out in South Dakota, and that would be an incredible gift. Maybe we'll have to think about that and work on it. And of course, it'll be a different group. Harvey and Grace, who were so central in resettling you, and others aren't here, but we are here and are grateful. So again, thank you all for being part of this good team we call the church, and in particular the Plains congregation.
And a special thank you for our families being here today. I mean, that was a complete surprise to us. My sisters even said, "Oh, really? I didn't know anything about it." Can you believe that? Can you believe that? Anyway, and Ken, thank you so much for your words this morning and encouragement, and for all of you. We are blessed immeasurably. Thank you.
Yeah, we've been surrounded by really dishonest liar. We mentored well in ministry. My mom, Rosalie Durstein, Dawn's mom, Shirley Frankenfield, her dad, Paul Frankenfield, sister Karen, Ken, Andrew, my brother Arnold, and Marlene, you know, Dawn's sister Nancy, and her husband Roland Cobb, my brother Phil, his wife Cheryl. Two of my brothers, Galen and Wendell, aren't here, and Dawn's and Doug left. Dawn's brother and youngest sister Krista and her husband Kyle aren't here. So, thank you all for your support.